Their Blackbeard's won. Wait, how did I?
Oh, thank you for the call out, bro.
Laser sight, laser sight.
Did I really just do that? Or
Oh, he's right there, right there, right there, right there, right there.
I can't believe I just pulled that one off. Come on, America.
That was quick.
Here's the deck. You can kind of see that. There we go, boys. Let's get into this profile. Going to the Paragus deck profile. I've done one of these before, and here is a new updated version of this. I like this deck a lot. It's super aggressive and it's very strong. When this card attacks, if there's any card in your battle area, draw one card, choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. You can't add cards from your life to your hand for the duration of the turn. When your life is 4 or less, you may draw one card and choose one energy, switch to active mode. On the Awakened, Paragus, the father of the demon, you can add cards from your life to your hand during your turn, which is really cool. When this card attacks, draw one card, choose one card from your hand, add it, place it in your drop area, choose it to one. Broly BR card in the battle area gets 5,000 for the duration of the turn. That's really good because it gives something a sense of being. I wish this later was at Awakened 2 energy, but it is what it is. Starting off my Paragus engine, I play one of the Paragus Deadly Premonition. It's a solid card. It is taking spot of other cards I do not have, but it is still good nonetheless. It's a good 1-drop green. It allows you to draw when you attack. You can search the top 5 cards of your deck for something, and then you can blow it up later and gain energy back. So it's kind of like a temporary energy that allow you to extend plays later on and draw off of it, which is dope. Next we play 4, Paragus the Sacrifice. I like this version more than the alternate version that came out just because it looks cooler. Choose one green card in your battle area, send it to the drop area, and draw one card. This is really good because most things you're playing are green, so you can play your dual color cards blowing up and then draw a card, or even blow up a Frieza and then draw a card off as well and play another Frieza, which is really awesome. Because we're playing green, we're playing 4 defending Father Paraguses. I like this in all my green decks. I don't see a reason why not to run it. To draw 2, warp 1, it's really powerful and really good. The only thing I think would be better is if we're in the sparking one, because you're not going to awaken, but we awaken usually on turn 3. We never awaken after that, just because we take so much life in this deck. There's no reason not to be at 4 less life by turn 3. Getting into our Broly engine, we run 2 of these because normally on we charge a red-green energy turn 1. Not all the time, but we most likely do. This card's really good because it allows you to clear small boards. It allows you to kind of reshuffle your hand in the sense where, because you're drawing 2, discarding 1, which it replaces itself and allows you to get rid of something in your hand you don't need, so if it gets too clunky, which is awesome. I don't always see myself playing this, so if you want to drop this out, you can. I like this card because it also allows you to frequent first, and it's basically another pseudo 1-drop because you can play it, swing with the leader, draw, swing with this, and then draw as well. It's really solid. Not the best card, I feel like, in this deck. Definitely one of the weaker cards in the deck. That and you'll see cards later on, like the Bulmas. But I do like this card because it does have an advantage. I don't see myself not running this card in the deck because it allows you more options. Next we play 4 of these Broly, which is pretty obvious since we're running a Broly deck. What's really cool about our leader is we don't always have to take the 2 life or the 1 or 2 life. If we are taking a life with our leader, then we can play as many of these Brolys as we wish and not have to kill ourselves, which is awesome. There's also multiple options that we have to do when going into 4-drop. The first option is this one. This Broly is really good because if you have a red-green, you get to blow up one card in your opponent's hand. They get to choose, and then you also draw a card as well, which is really nice. And you can kill one of the creatures on board, which is dope. And then, if you do have it on board and you see this being viable, you can play this thing down. This king is really good because it's a threat. It's hard to get rid of, and it allows you to do a lot of damage with a single strike. The one downside about this, with all the sparking negates and a lot more people run negates, this card is very vulnerable to being negated, so 3 energy for a possible negation. It does kind of suck, but it is what it is. Still solid enough to run. We do have another route, Broly the Berserker Origins. This card's really good because it's a 4-drop 15,000. Allows you to snipe something on the board, which I end up helping me in my final game against Andy, which is really cool. Also allows you to go to a step further. A different Broly that most people probably don't run because they run the other Broly leader, BR leader. So what's really the point of running it? Well, I like this guy a lot because I can empty my entire hand and get the 7 or 8 cards, which is really nice. This card's really good because it's a double strike when you play this card. If there's 3 or more battle cards in your battle area, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. With the combination of plays, you can go from 0 to 7, which is really nice, and then swing with your leader for 8, which is really cool, and I do like this card a lot. It's not the most viable card in the deck, but in the sense of it does, since you can't really search it out, you do have to draw it, but the deck does draw a good amount, and I usually get this off in my games at least once, sometimes twice, but realistically that's pushing it, because you want to win faster, so getting this off more and more would definitely be harder as the time goes on. Next we have 4 Shocking Death Balls. This card's really good because it is a free negate and it is really easy to get the sparking off. You can tap out effectively and then blow things up and then play your Friezas. I like this card a lot. Also, if you do want to play defensively, you play this, and there's also more negates as well. So we run a total of 7 negates, which is very powerful. I'm a huge fan of Shocking Death Ball. So we play 3 Topos. I love this card a lot. Our buddy Andy recommended 4. But the reason why I don't see 4 just because it doesn't extend plays, it only slows your opponent down a bit, which against certain decks it does help out a lot, but not against every single deck. It's a 2-drop, requires 1 red and 1 colorless on your opponent's turn, and for your opponent to keep attacking, it allows you to then discard 2 cards, which if you negate that attack, which it just gets so much value. I love Topo a lot. Plus, it's the body on board that does 20k, so your opponent has to combo at least 10,000 to stop it, or that the sense you beat in something else, which is nice. Also, it allows you to kill a lot of creatures that your opponent attacks with. So if you want to clear the board, you can, but you don't always have to. Next, we play 2 Dependable Mombomas. This feels like a very strong and also weak card in the deck. It's kind of situational. I don't always need it. But it's nice because you play for 1 red energy, and if you want to awaken before you attack and tap your red-green energy that you most likely have, awaken, draw a card, and then get the energy back, and then buff something else as well and swing in. This card's really good, allows you to, for 1 energy, you're drawing a card and you gain something 5k, so you're not comboing this right away. Plus, it's a little bit better than just comboing because it allows your opponent to have to kill this thing or you just get it right back. So it kind of eats up an attack or removal spell, which I like it a lot. It also allows you to play cards Zamasu in the deck, which is really nice because you'll blow this up and it's really good. So I think Dependable Mom is good at 2. If you want to run 3, you can. I don't see any reason to, but it's up to you. We only run 2 surprise attacks. You could run it at 3. I like 2 as is. It's a 15k critical, really strong. You have so much removal in the deck, it's really easy to play. If you find yourself not drawing it, you can always run a 3rd. I think 2 is perfect though. We won 1 Bardock because it's a good card. It allows you to draw 2, discard 1. This also could be a Fu if you want to do that. I like it as a Bardock just because it's a 20k, but a Fu would just be almost just as good. Yes, it requires energy and this does not, but you fill up your discard so much and you don't really have much sparking except for the Shocking Death Balls, so it's up to you. I just run this because I like it, but preference. I actually absolutely love this card. Fuse Zamasu Deity's Wrath. Really powerful card. Indestructible. When this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places in the drop area. And then the special summoning effect is you blow up creatures on your board that are 5. It's really easy to do since you have a lot of 4s, 1s. You play a lot of 5s in the deck. A decent amount of 5s in the deck. It's just so easy to pull off. You can blow up your Broly, your 4-drop Broly, and a 1-drop Broly going to a 4 and then a 6. These are beautiful plays because you turn 2 creatures that have already attacked into even more attacks. Plus, every time this attacks, your opponent drops a card from their hand. And this card's really annoying to get rid of unless your opponent just plays a bunch of red to neg this thing down. Because as is indestructible, they can't just straight up kill it. If you want to run 2, you can. It's up to you. I think this card's amazing when you have it. It's kind of like a spicy-ish card. Obviously, it's an obvious choice because it's really good. But if you want to run this 2, you can. You can probably drop out the Paragus Deadly Premonition or something else you find too many of in the deck that you don't necessarily want. But definitely run this card at least 1. So I'm originally showing both of these cards because I like them both a lot, and they're very similar in abilities. Champa, Beerus, the Capricious Gods. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 20,000 power or less, and KO it, and then choose up to one of your battle cards against double strike for the duration of the turn. So I run 3 and 4 only because I do have 3, but I can't see myself running 4 and 4. I think it would be kind of cool to run that many, but I'm not entirely feeling it. I feel myself playing Gogeta more. Yes, Champa has 2 effects, but the Gogeta summons another Gogeta. Plus, it already has double strike itself, so I don't have to rely on something else being on the board, or something not I've already attacked, which has happened before where I had to give a double strike to something like just a regular 4-drop Gogeta red. I'll show you in a second. So it wasn't that amazing, but it made force my opponent to have to combo out of it, not just take it. Gogeta just feel like overall better. It has more protection to it. Yes, most of them get hit by the same things, but it being a 5-drop allows me to also just blow it up for Zamasu, and things that hit 4 or less don't hit him, and there's a lot of counterplays at 4 or less. Champa Beerus is really good. It really feels off preference. If you want to mix these up any number you want to, you can. I feel like this number is really solid and really good. Even if I had a 4th one, as I said, I don't think I'd run 4 and 4. So the final 3 cards you run is the SS Gogeta Acrobatic Warrior. This card is free summon when you play the Gogeta. I only run this at 3 because I ran it at 4 and I didn't like it. It just kept drawing out way too much and way too often. It's not necessarily a card that you need to see all the time. It's nice to have 1 or 2 in your hand, that way you can combo in an arrival, but realistically it's just a 15k striker. Its only goal in the deck is to either play your full power Broly, the dual colored one, and just punch in for 4 damage, or as an extra striker on board. You can drop this down to 2 if you wanted to and put another surprise attack, but I think 3 and 3 are good just because this is a 5k versus a 10k, and this is also red. We don't run that many off-color red cards, so 8's not a bad number. That are just 5Ks for red, but you know, if you want to run this as a 4th one, you can. You're just going to see it way too often. You're not going to like it. There's the deck profile. I will get into my matchups and kind of overall how to play the deck after this. So, going to a little bit how to play the deck. If you are going first or second, you definitely want to keep one of these cards in your hand. They're really good. Don't throw away everything for them, but you kind of want to. If you're going first, you definitely want a red-green to be your first charge. That way everything's live. Usually keep only 1 red-green. If you have an option between these 3 to keep one of them, I would just keep maybe the full power and maybe Gogeta or Champa as well. You have a good chance of drawing them, but it's always nice to charge your first red-green that you see no matter what it is, just so that you can make sure all your effects are constantly live. Charging red-green isn't super necessary in this deck. You only need 1 red, maybe 2 red. If you want to do that, you can, but you do run a lot of 10Ks, so if you are keeping a red in your hand, if you're going to keep red-green in your hand, it's going to kind of hurt if you draw too many of your 10Ks. You have ways to get rid of them, but you don't want to clog your hand too much. Definitely the Broly is the best option to almost always charge, because it requires a little bit more just to play than these 2. But I usually try to keep 1 of these in my hand and 1 of these in my hand. But if you only have 1 red-green in your hand, keep the first one no matter what and send most of the things back. If you're going second, you definitely want to try to keep a green card that you can charge. That's one of the best things to do. Make sure you can try to keep 1 of these. Hard mulligan for these if you're going second. You definitely need 1 of these in your hand. If you have nothing at all whatsoever, I would definitely recommend just sending everything back, shuffle very well, and make sure you can hope you can get 1 of these, because you're going to need 1, because your leader only draws when he attacks. He only draws when he attacks if you have something green in your battle area, which isn't always going to be the case. If you can somehow pull off charging a red and then combo red-green, but that's not super worth it just because you still need attack anyway, so that's even a terrible idea. Don't even try it. Paragus is really good, Broly's really good, and so is this card's good. You can search your things out. This will allow you to dig more, and this will well. If you don't have a play on your first play, chill charge the green, because you can take a life, and usually if I don't somehow get one of my 9 options for a 1-drop green, I usually get off my first life and just play it and swing. You always want to make sure your first swing on turn 1 going second is with your Paragus, so you guarantee that draw in case your opponent has some kind of removal for your 1-drops. Even if you went first and second when you charge your red-green, and then you go in to swing, you always want to do the Paragus first just to be safe, because there's so much removal in this game. If you only have a Paragus and your opponent just kills it, then you're kind of screwed or whatever. So just swing first and things like that. Broly is honestly the best 1-drop you can get. If you do have these already in your hand or one of them, then you can afford to keep one of these or one of these. I would definitely recommend, like, if you just draw a really good hand, this is another good card to keep with, like, these 4 right here. This is like a perfect right here, and a red-green, because this will allow you to get your triggers off and allow you to just go off on your opponent. Turn 2, if going second, I usually charge a red-green because you don't need that much energy, and you're probably gonna wake up that turn anyways. And if you don't, you have red-green to keep alive anyways. Really strong. Also, if you can as well, if you see too many of those, honestly, I try to keep one of them sometimes because it'll allow you to play aggressively and defensively. Also allows you to dig as well for things that you need. Solid card to do so. If you're going against a control deck, it's good. If you're going against an aggro deck, it's good because you can block up damage. If you see a topo and card to keep, I would definitely keep it if you're going against an aggressive deck. I kept this against the Pan player, and I kept it against King Vegeta. Allowed me to play this and stop my opponent from getting too aggressive and too happy. So it's really running this card at 1. If you're not hard mulliganing for things that you need, like you actually have cards like a 1-drop in your hand, keep this. It's not super necessary. It is as strong as a card as it is. It's not super necessary. I just love the card. Do you want to play it as soon as you can, as soon as possible. Helps you out a lot. Because your leader is kind of a glass cannon in a sense where you do have to blow a lot of your life away, but you can awaken turn 3 if you want to. You kind of choose the pace of how you awaken in a sense where you don't have to rush your awakening, but you should be awakening by turn 3. If you're not, then you're probably going to end up losing because you need to win by turn 3 or turn 4. Turn 5 isn't a safe way to win. That's when a lot of decks start going off and winning. So if you can win turn 3, it's good. If you can't win turn 3, make sure you put your opponent to a low hand and you still have ways to defend yourself. But again, it's kind of hard to say depending on what you're going against. My game 1 was against Miura. Not Miura, but Toa, the Toa leader, and I killed him turn 3. We've already played before. He kind of figured he was going to lose, but I always tell people, even if you feel like you're going to lose, still try to play it out and still see if what you can do, because sometimes I win matches I shouldn't win. But I kind of just swarmed the board and got him. Game 2 was against Fuji's King Vegeta deck. I wasn't too scared of that deck because I had 2 topos in my hand anyways. I did kind of misplay because he swung at one of my Brolys with a 25k strike attack. And I used my leader to bump it by 5k and then to come another thing. What I should have done is that I should have just played the topo right away, but I didn't. And that cost me 2 cards out of my hand, which I didn't necessarily need, and my opponent have an extra card in his hand, which is what it is. But I played the topo, he swings with his Kefla, and I played negate and killed his blocker, which really did help anyway, so it was kind of helped a little bit, but definitely hurt me to have 2 less cards in my hand that I needed. I ended up winning because he did misplay, which I feel like I still would have won anyways. He after imaged my 1-drop Broly, but it honestly, like, I don't feel like I would have lost regardless. So yes, he could have killed the Paragus, but I still had ways to blow it up, and I still had multiple attacks anyways. Like, I ended up not even fully comboing with my one of my 1-drop Paraguses for game, because I just have so many attacks that put so much pressure on the board that it's hard for people to even stop everything, and there's so much removal. Except for barrier, but then most barrier cards aren't that strong anyways, and you just attack through them like blockers and just whatever. Game 3 was against Zamasu. I just outran him. He's I want to say, he got me to turn 4, which I ended up beating him because he had no cards really left in his hand, and such little defenses. Even if he did calming me, which I think he was digging for, he really realistically needed a Nimbus on turn 3. Didn't see any, he ran 3 in his deck. It was his final life was one of them. It kind of sucks. Like, that kind of hurts his deck a little bit as Nimbus and Topo. but you can still play everything defensively as well, so it's not that big of a deal because you can just help with them right back. You can also rival their plays if they try to go off on you as well, which is incredibly nice. Forwards against Andy, he played Pan. It was a really good back and forth game. We both got super aggressive. I put him down kind of low. He tried to come at me. I played Topo. He ended up passing. I swung at him. He didn't have another Topo. And I thought about going in pretty hard on him. I could have gone down to like 1 life and instead of passing my turn, we have 3. But I didn't want to try to dig for the 6 drop and risk not grabbing it. I ended up pulling it off, like 2 of them, my Paragus on the defense. Which, if I would have known that, I would have gone for it. But I hate digging for stuff when you're not sure it's there. Because the 6 drop would have been in a very explosive pay and really could have helped me win, but I didn't know. And it really wasn't worth the risk. I'm not saying I regret it because I ended up winning anyways. Even if I would have lost, I still wouldn't have dug for it because, in my opinion, that's a bad mentality, trying to dig for stuff that you're not even sure if it's even there or not or where it's at. I hadn't seen one at that moment, or I may have got rid of one. I think it's possible I've already only seen one at that moment. So realistically, there's only 2 left in the deck. I just don't feel like it's worth digging for. I ended up drawing them, but still, I would not recommend trying to dig in this deck unless you truly need something. Like, you can dig easily, just if you don't over push down. Like, your opponent's at 4 or less life, try to dig. Yeah, play a super combo, draw the 2, because you want the damage to go through. But if they're above 4, you're going to most likely take damage anyways. He forgot about one of my effects. I ended up killing his creature and I'm winning. Though I also messed up because I accidentally charged an extra Topo, which I should not have done. It was really stupid of me. I should have just charged a different card, but it is what it is. We make this play. Like, I haven't played this deck in a while, and this is my first tournament with the deck. I am glad I beat him though, but I feel like I'm not sure how it would have gone if we both didn't misplay a lot. I wouldn't say we both misplayed a lot, but if we didn't misplay a couple times, we did. But it was still a fun game, fun tournament. Very semi-good tournament, 12 players, so you guys have a good one. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to, and have a good one. This is Team ToooBananas signing out.